All right. Okay.
Are we
All
all,
right.
we're on the internet.
We are. We're live.
We're on the internet, but this time we're in a different locale, a different haunt, a different space.
Yeah. And
Yeah.
I see.
Ooh, I see live.
Yeah. Hopefully everything starts to pick up, and then um, hopefully also nothing is like laggy or like broken. Um,
There,
because
no.
that would be
I'm
really
seeing.
annoying.
I'm seeing it starting to stutter right now a little bit, actually.
Yikes. All right. Well, I'm gonna pull it up on my phone, and then I'm gonna
Got it.
close it off of it. It says excellent connection. It's like the annoying part is like I'm hardwired in. I show like zero drop frames, and
Yeah.
like my CPU usage is pretty high, but um, yeah. Actually, it's just like low video quality. It looks like maybe.
Hmm.
No, everything looks fine. I don't know.
Yeah, it's doing a little better now. Um, I'll let you know if it's really bad again, though.
Yeah, I think the more like I move around or do stuff, the more it's gonna just be annoying.
Yeah, I should switch to
Um,
VTuber avatars, bro. I'm telling you.
yeah, but I'm gonna just close everything that doesn't need to be opened, so that way. Oh my god! Don't stop. Stop. Okay, Jesus. Doing anything just makes my computer like freeze. I need to upgrade everything. I need to upgrade my memory. I need to upgrade my CPU.
We just do a whole new build at that point.
Might as well.
You
I don't
sell the
know.
one you have. Yeah, sell the one you have and use it to fund the new one.
I don't know if I could get anything for the one I have, but
Oh yeah, you could. You could always get money for an old gaming PC. Someone wants to buy it for their kid or something for like $600, like $500
bro,
maybe.
I spent $500.
Oh, oh, okay, maybe. Yeah, okay. When did you buy? I thought you bought it like a few months ago, though, didn't you? So it's still in spec.
I bought it last no like 2 years ago, right? And like
I don't remember. That's why I just asked
yeah,
you.
like 2 years ago I bought it, and dude, it only has a Ryzen 3 in it, like CPU, but it has a good graphics card, so.
Yeah.
But it can't handle like anything. Like if I was trying to like stream like Battlefront 2 or whatever,
Yeah.
it would look like a PowerPoint presentation.
Yeah, for sure.
Like I streamed a bit of Magic the
Mm.
Gathering Arena.
Yeah, I think I saw that stream. It like fell apart. I remember like it started glitching out. And it was frozen. It was.
Some of them like worked well and some of them didn't. But like when I was at the other place, like since I've recently moved, when I was there, I streamed like I think I did one or two arena streams that worked. Like everything worked fine. But
Mm.
here, obviously, with shitty ass AT&T only available in 5010, like it's fucking dog shit. So even hardwired in, like what's it gonna do? It's just gonna. I mean, I'm gonna try because Lord of the Rings, the set is out for Magic, so I'm gonna try to do some drafts probably tomorrow, if not definitely Friday.
Yep.
So I'll be looking into that. Hopefully it works.
Yeah.
I don't know, like it's crazy to me how much CPU usage everything takes up. Like even opening task manager like will use CPU.
Yeah. Usually, the most functioning way I've noticed to buy a gaming PC is just you just gotta ball out on one, and then that one will last you like I'm expecting it should last you 6 or 7 years until you gotta replace it again. It's
Yeah.
just a really big investment, or you could upgrade parts of it. Like mine, like mine's all custom. I put everything in myself. It's not pre-built or anything like that. That way, I can just keep upgrading stuff over time. But right now, the only bottleneck it has is the GPU. But we're on the tail end now of the GPU crisis, where no one could get a GPU, and the one you could get were like super duper expensive. And now they're actually starting to go down in price because the
Yeah, but you probably
excuse me,
still
the
have
Bitcoin.
a decent GPU, right? Like a
I have a
2080
16.
or something.
No, I have a
Oh, you have a
1650.
16.
Yeah, that's not
Yeah,
very good. No, the GTX
pretty shit.
1650. Yeah, it's pretty slow. So I got to get a new one. But money's tight all the time. So I think next time my next commission that close, I'm gonna spend that on get a nice GPU, and then I can play. I want to get something that can play Cyberpunk for like a really high, like a really really high. So yeah.
Yeah. Well, PC in general, don't you have to kind of run low settings for most games? Like
for
if you're streaming, I guess maybe not.
Yeah, if you're streaming, it just depends on what you have. Like, I have 32 gigabytes of RAM, and like there's these rip jaws, so like they can handle a lot of tasks at the same time.
Yeah.
And like my CPU, I got an i7 quad core. It's like came with fancy boxes. It's like really good. It does its job, and then I have liquid cooling and everything like that, so everything stays cool, like all the time. Like I don't even overclock, but I just have it so everything like stays at a consistent temperature because that's for the life of the PC. You know, got a gold and a good motherboard, good spread out, good size motherboard. So
Yeah. How do I?
Yep.
Okay, so I'm sharing this real quick, but
we're still live on the internet, and hi guys, this is the Nerd Ledger.
Seems to be working. So
sorry, maybe we're just talking off the cuff to make sure in anticipation of the stream crashing. For those of you that are on podcast right now, we're actually streaming on YouTube today instead of Twitch. Kaje told me we're doing this, so I was like, all right, whatever, because I'm pretty easygoing. So I don't know, like, do you have a specific reason?
Really, I wanted to see if YouTube was more stable, because Twitch, like, notoriously has pretty shit servers.
Yeah.
And Twitch seems to be dying a little bit.
Yeah.
Not like they're actually gonna die. I mean, like, they're owned by Amazon, so I don't see that actually happening. But it's very, I mean, they're not a profitable company, like most streaming companies are. I don't even think YouTube is a profitable company, but it drives everything through Google, and Google can sell better ads because of YouTube, and so they make more money and things like that. So like there's other avenues, but like other streaming platforms are signing a lot of Twitch's big streamers now, and so I think in general there are just going to be less users on the platform over time. But I mean, let's be honest, we're the only people watching our, we're our only viewers typically when we stream there anyway. And so, I figure I upload all the videos on YouTube anyway. We'll give YouTube a try. We'll see because last week streaming on Twitch was just kind of a nightmare. Like, I don't know if it was Twitch or it's just my computer or my internet or whatever, but everything is super laggy. Everything is cutting in and out, and like, we would be talking and the audio would be fine, but the video is like 3 minutes behind, and so like nothing's in sync, and it's like that video. So the last week we streamed, we talked about a bunch of news, like a whole bunch of news, and I have the news on the screen, so like we'll be talking about like allegations against the guy who plays Namor, but the screen is showing that Daredevil is being postponed, and so like, and we're all frozen and stuff, and like it's crazy because that video is like the most watched video on our YouTube, but like it's shit. And so it's like you're not going to retain those viewers if your product looks like shit anyway.
Or sounds like shit. Like, I keep talking, like, this microphone I have right now is fine. I listened to it a few times, it works well, but I think, like, I listen to it also, I'm like, well, I could sound a lot better eventually at some point too. Like, I want to buy a nice studio microphone, like not this $20 piece of shit I got on like Amazon discount Monday, Cyber Monday, like 4 or 5 years ago. So it's time to replace it, and it's important to like put that quality in for your consumers and stuff like that.
So I think I'm just so far it looks like YouTube is pretty stable, and it looks like everything is working well, and we're not like lagged out or anything, so that's better. It'll save me the step of also having to upload the VOD later to YouTube because it'll already be there. So I mean, the thing is, like, YouTube Live isn't great anyway. Like there aren't a whole bunch of like YouTube doesn't support live streaming as well as it should, even though it pays people a lot of money to stream there anyway. It's just like their discoverability is pretty bad, but Twitch's discoverability is also dog shit. So,
I think it's just discoverability in general. Like, it's some people like want to go to watch the big streamers, and most of the time they go on Twitch is because their friend told them about a big streamer. It's hard to find like general people that want to go off and find like, sometimes I think the most popular thing that happens is like someone starts playing a game like that a lot of people like, and they just kind of carry momentum from game to game and build like viewership over time. But it's hard to like get it. It's hard to like. I remember reading sometime. Like I can't remember where I heard this, but like if you get 50 consistent viewers like on Twitch like daily, you're like in the top like 3% of all Twitch creators.
Yeah.
Like, you know,
Yeah.
it's that kind of blows my mind. Like just 50 viewers. Like you could get 50 friends and have them like tab you consistently every night, and then you could just build an automatic business that prints money. It's wild.
Yeah. That you have to have friends though, you know.
Yeah, that's the
Like,
most important thing. You can't be honest, so you can't be honest.
yeah, I mean, like, this is it's a sad reality that sets in every now and then for me, that I don't really have friends. Like, you know, like
Yeah.
we're friends, but you live kind of far away.
And that's it.
Yeah.
You're like my only friend too, basically, because like, you know, eventually you kind of just part ways with your people you knew in high school, you know, and
Well, yeah, I mean,
you know,
life changes and people change,
yeah,
and that's
people
it, you
people
know.
change, and like, you know, they don't talk to you. Like, or another thing is like, you know, they have your number, they have your information, but they just don't talk to you for like, you know, 4 or 5 years and stuff like that, and it's just there's no interaction or anything, and
Yeah.
you
So
know, so you just move on, and then yeah.
yeah. So last Thursday we went and saw The Flash, and we'll get to that. But then Friday I had plans to go to a concert, and I had invited somebody to go because, you know, like, you know, this is the guy who goes to movies with us, and so like you know, like we're kind of friends, but like it is what it is, you know, like you know, hey, he likes music and concerts, so every time I buy tickets for a concert, I always buy two.
Yeah, I remember when we went to that movie, you shouted like, no, the movie before that, before The Flash, whatever we saw, was it Into the Spider-Verse?
Yeah,
You shouted like, whoever listens to this band name, and I have never heard that band name before in my entire life, but he knew exactly what you're talking about and like the lead singer. So you guys obviously have similar taste in music, is what I'm saying. Please continue.
Yeah. So we were supposed to go to this concert on Friday, and the doors open at 5. And this mother sucker called me at 2:30. And he said, "I'm not going. I got called into work."
Yeah.
And then the reality sets in. I don't have any friends. I have an extra ticket.
Yeah.
I need to find someone who can go with me, or who wants to go with me. So I hit up somebody who I played music with in the past, and like in high school we were good friends, but like, you know, we don't hang out much anymore. But we like all the same music. We're big fans of the same bands and stuff, and like, so I hit him up, and he was very wish-washy like about it for some reason. Like, he was like, I was like, "Oh, you have anything going on?" No. Okay, you want to go to this thing? No response. And then I was like, "Doors open at 5," and then he said, "That's early," and so I was like, and so I ended up Instagram messaging someone I work with, who I know is like down for, you know, down to do stuff, because like, you know, she's cool, like, but she's always busy because she has a lot of friends and she's like always doing shit.
Yeah.
And so I hit her up, and I just said, you know, yeah, it's cool if you don't want to go, like, or you can't or whatever, like, just let me know, because I got this ticket and it's like close to where you live, so like I could pick you up or whatever, and you know, you can drink and not have to worry about driving and shit. And she was like, "No, I have no plans. That sounds like fun. Let's go." And I was like, "Holy shit! Okay, cool." It turns out she lied. She did have plans that she canceled to go to the concert. But you know, like, she was just going out with someone to drink anyway, and so she's like, "Well, you know, like, because we talk at work sometimes. We talk about Star Wars all the fucking time. Like, she loves Star Wars. She's a huge Star Wars fan. Like, she was supposed to come on one of our podcasts at one point to talk Star Wars with us, but like I said, she's always busy, and it's hard to get her to commit to time like that. But it was cool. Like, at least I found someone to go with. You know, like, she's fun to hang out with, and we just chilled and enjoyed the music. And you know, like, it's a lot of screamo bands and shit. And so, like, the first band came on, and she looked at me, she said, "How did I know a concert with you would be this music?" I was like, well, you know, it is what it is. Also, I spilled Coca-Cola all over myself for some reason that night.
Nice.
It was very interesting. But yeah, it just, like, sets in, like, wow, people don't really, you know, just don't really have friends.
Yeah, well, you know, there's definitely a lot of loneliness going on. Like, it's kind of an epidemic of loneliness, actually. I've heard it been described. Like, a lot of people have issues keeping, like, close interpersonal friends these days. And there's, like, a multitude of reasons for that. Like, I'm pretty good at, like, being on my own and doing my own thing. Like, you know, I could probably go out more, but even if I start doing like, I'm just really, I don't know. It's hard for me to make friends with people like, in our social like group, which is being nerds, because a lot of nerds are gigantic assholes who like treating other people like shit. Like, that's what I was worried was going to happen. And like, this thing we went to, so we had a great time at this, we went to Magic the Gathering pre-release party for the Lord of the Rings.
Yeah.
And dude, I thought it was gonna be like horrible. Like I was gonna get matched up with some nerd who's gonna start screaming and yelling at me because I didn't know what I was doing.
Bro,
it's,
to be honest though, like that's like obviously it didn't happen, right?
Yeah.
That's where you're going, but I mean, there's still a lot of weird people there, like you can tell, like, and it's okay because we're also weird people, but like, you can always tell when it's like this is life to these to some to people like this, like this is like what they live for,
playing Magic, right?
And it's like I was like that before, like I would travel to play Magic and play in big tournaments and stuff, but it's like, I don't know, you can always tell when someone is like, they make their whole life about something and they don't really think about other things or care about doing other things. It's like, like we're there to have fun, like in whatever, like, and I'm still competitive. I enjoy competitive Magic.
And I was competitive too. Like, I wanted to win. I wanted to win some free packs. Like, this first guy and the second guy I was playing, third guy I was playing against, like, I was always trying to win. I lucked out. I got a free pack basically because someone quit, dropped out, and left. So
yeah. I hate that way of playing though. Like, to me, it's like socialism, Like,
well, I just think they're trying to restructure the format to bring more people in, and being the chance to win some free packs, like, is a pretty good, like, way to just whistle people into the door.
It's weird because, like, I used to play at that shop a long time ago, and like
all the time, or like
like when they opened, like that's the shop I went to the most to play, and like you would get like competitive players in there to play, like a lot, but it seems like they've really kind of like pandered more towards like the commander players who are like I
think every card shop does that. I think every card shop does that though.
But commander's like a casual format, and the players are very casual, and because of that,
until their dumb deck they spent $2,000 on starts losing, and they stop being casual really quick.
Yeah, so it was really surprising to me that like the first guy I got paired up with, I thought like, oh, this guy, like, because he was there early, he was playing like with the guy next to him and stuff. Like, I thought he was really, like, I thought he was going to be a good player, but he wasn't. And I was like,
making mistakes like me.
Well,
like, I kept forgetting to untap and upkeep and stuff like that. Like, getting back into the.
He would forget to draw and stuff, and so I'd like remind him and like little things. And then like the round 2, I got paired up with someone who's like brand new, like. And then, like, round 3, I played against someone who is actually a really good player. But
yeah, that was intense. I'd always look over there, and you just had a bunch of crazy shit spread out over your field and stuff.
But I won all my games, and I only get 3 packs, and I think that's too equitable. I think I should.
I think what I think happens if like how I thought it would happen is like if you're like the top in the game card shop, you would get like maybe like a little booster box or something like that. No, but I guess like that didn't happen.
The way most shops who do this format, right, where it's you play 3 rounds, you get a pack per win. Most shops who do that, it's that's true of if you get 1 or 2 wins, but if you go undefeated, a lot of times they double it. So like most people get 1 pack or 2 packs for their 1 or 2 wins, but if you win all your matches, you get double. Essentially, you'd get 6 packs.
That's pretty good though. So like,
I only got 3, and so
I know. I thought you should have gotten 6. So do you think if you would have gotten 6, you would have been happier? Like,
yeah, it's just like when you pay, like, obviously you're paying for the product, right? And obviously all like. For people who don't understand how card shops and comic book stores run, like they run on low margins already. Like they're not making a lot of money. And so I can only go based on what it was when I worked at a comic book store many, many, many years ago, where when we bought a Magic product, at that time boxes sold for $90. And the cost was about $60. So you're making like 30%, 33% on like that's your margin for your box, right? And so the real money you make is on packs, because you sell packs for $4 a pack, and there's 36 packs, and if you do the math right, you're making $160, $170 if you're selling individual packs versus selling it box for $90. You're making a lot more money, right? So your cost per pack is a little less than $2 at that time. And so when you're giving away packs as prizes, you don't look at it as I'm losing $4. You're losing cost. And so when you enter a tournament and you spend your $35 for entry, and the thing that they buy is $20 or whatever, right? They're making $15 off of everybody there. They can afford those packs, right? I mean, it's built in, but
yeah, that's what I'm saying. Like too, like they could have given you 6 packs. Like that's what I thought. Like I thought if you were the top in the shop, it would give you like a box or something. But like they didn't give like like I said, they didn't give you anything, which I thought was kind of dumb. Like
it's fine, like it is what it is, and like if you're gonna play at casual shops, you should also expect to not get good payouts for being the best. Like that's
or the ability to use a bathroom. Apparently, that's not allowed.
I thought legally they had to have bathrooms in places like that.
They had a bathroom, but they said it wasn't for public use, and like, well, not even for like if I'm a paying customer, I paid like $50.
I think legally they have to have a bathroom that consumers can use.
But I don't know what you go tell them that.
Hey, I'm not gonna bang down their door. I'm not law enforcement, but.
Exactly.
I think there are laws around having restrooms in places with certain capacities. So, but anyway, yeah, like it was fun though. Like I had fun. Like I love the Lord of the Rings set. Like there's so much nice flavor to it, and like the cards are beautiful, and it's a lot of fun. So I'm definitely gonna do some drafts on Arena. So the set I think officially comes out this Friday, but on Arena it came out Tuesday this week, yesterday. So
I'm gonna try and go to a release event they have. Hopefully I'll be able to make it in. Like there's a game store that finally opened up near to where I live.
Is it big or is it small?
It's a pretty well sized game store.
Oh, you'll be fine. Most stores don't cap.
They have like 16. They only have 16 seats or something. So
really?
Yeah. We'll see.
The shop I worked in was so small. So like the shop we went to. Like imagine like a quarter of that size.
Yeah,
that's the shop I worked in. Like we could fit like 4 tables max, but if we could fit them, we would. So like we'd have draft nights with like 25, 30 people, and we'd stuff them in there. We'd get like pizza and shit. Everybody who signed up got a free pizza and free soda, and like So I didn't run it, but like I worked there, and a lot of ideas were discussed and things. So
well, they're on the app, and apparently like they give you a code to register. So I just got to show up on Friday early, and hopefully I can get in. I guess that's just gonna have to work, and hopefully there's not like a super regular crowd there that I'm like making upset. That's
just call, see if you could sign up early.
Yeah. Oh yeah. I actually asked them. They have like a Discord, and they said like sign up's like day of. So.
Oh, okay.
See how it goes.
Yeah, well, that's cool. That's cool. But yeah, we're here to talk about The Flash, apparently, guys.
Right. We did see that movie.
We saw The Flash. Let's get it out of the way first. Ezra Miller. Yeah. All right. Ezra Miller is, in my opinion, a reprehensible human being.
Yep.
I based on everything that's come out about them and all the news and everything else, my conclusion is that Ezra Miller is a horrible person. All that being said, it doesn't really matter. We got to judge the movie for the movie, and some people won't be able to get past that to begin with, which is fine. But we're just going to talk about the movie and for what it is, essentially. And there are definitely going to be spoilers in this conversation. So if you haven't seen it and you don't want to be spoiled, come back later.
Turn it off.
after you've watched it, or if you've seen it and you want to hear our conversation, please stick around. Or if you don't care about being spoiled and haven't seen it, then stick around. But yeah, we're going to talk about the movie. And I've seen in general like pretty positive thoughts like online about the movie. I've seen some negative here and there, but I think overwhelmingly people are pretty positive about the movie. I mean, the few people who have seen it, because the movie's not making money. The box office is anticipated to be lower than Black Adam's based on its opening, which is which is what it is. But I'll start with the Black Adam reference because my wife had asked me when I was coming home, and I had just finishing the movie. She said, "Was it better than Black Adam?" And I struggled with that question because I think it's like you'd want to say absolutely, right? Because the Black Adam wasn't that good, but this movie also wasn't amazing.
Yeah.
I think ultimately it was better than Black Adam. Black Adam's story was just dog shit. And I think the action in Black Adam carried it, but this movie also had a lot of very good action, mainly because of Batman, all the Batmen. But I didn't hate the movie. I didn't think it was bad. I thought CGI was dog shit. I don't care that the director came out and said we purposely made the CGI look that way because he's moving fast through space and time and it's distorted and that's how it's supposed to look and blah blah blah. It looked bad. I'm sorry, it just looked bad. Even when he's not moving through quote space and time, the babies at the beginning, the CGI didn't look great. Just so much of the CGI was bad, in my opinion. Even the yeah, we'll get to all that. But what are your thoughts on the Flash?
In general, like, I just kind of was just, I don't know, it's like just another subpar movie in the DCEU, which should be blowing our minds, and it's not. Like, there were a lot of really stupid jokes, there were a lot of bad effects. I thought that Ezra Miller was very stiff and playing a very stereotypical character that's pretty easy to play, like in his teenage self, and also, like, and he said, like, earlier that, like, Barry's, like, supposed to be this quirky character. I mean, I guess, but I don't know. There are other people that they like the quirky, nerdy male character, and it's just, So, it really was stiff. Some of the jokes were really flat. Some of the action was really dumb. The only good scenes were that battleground scene. That was the only time I remember feeling anything resembling joy in my life. I didn't really care for the cameos or anything like that because I didn't really grow up with those. They didn't have Christian Bale portraying his Batman somewhere, and so I didn't really see. That's the only other DC movie I know. I don't know these old movies that came out in the 80s and 90s that everyone's being nostalgic about and makes them love this movie for some reason. Or the Nicolas Cage one.
Well, I think the funny thing is, like, the Nicolas Cage reference wasn't CGI apparently. It was like he actually was there.
He actually killed the spider with laser vision. Damn, Nicolas Cage can do everything, bro.
But it's very clearly they CGI'd over him still.
Yeah.
Like, I don't like all that convergence stuff was very odd. Like it wasn't necessarily like bad. It's just like it didn't resonate in the way I think they hoped it would. At least not to me. And like I mean I've grown up on comics. I've grown up on superheroes and everything else, and it still didn't. It didn't resonate. I think the way maybe they hoped it would. It's tough because I just kept feeling like I was waiting for something to happen throughout the whole movie.
Yeah,
and
same.
just like
Something
almost
cool and
nothing
amazing.
did. But so the whole time it's like I'm waiting. Batman, really cool, love it. I'm waiting. More Batman. Oh, Supergirl, fucking sick. She was awesome. Waiting. And like, I've seen people say the movie hits these emotional beats. It didn't hit any emotional beats for me. And if you guys have listened to any of the shit we've ever done, bro, I cry at everything.
Yeah.
Like, this movie didn't even make me well up at all.
Yeah.
And
like what? Like him going into the past, basically like change the past. Like, kills his mom. Oh no! Like, that's just.
Right.
That's a really basic. That's a really basic, easy, cheap shot. Like, it's hard to get in cheap shots these days. That's how crazy the world is. So,
and the story isn't anything new. It's not anything we're not familiar with. And like, I get it. Like, comic book fans complain all the time. Make things closer to the comics. And people can argue, okay, it's pretty close to the comics in terms of the outline, but in the broad strokes, right? But in the details, it's still very, very different. But not in the right ways. Like, yes, we understand that we shouldn't, like, most people will understand you shouldn't perfectly adapt something, but they didn't even like really try to be different in the broad strokes. So like, okay, well, the story is Barry's mom is killed when he's a kid. His dad goes to prison for it, and then Barry, as an adult, goes back in time, saves his mom, and returns to a future where everything's wrong because of it.
Yeah.
And sure, that happened, but then like,
just to listen, you and I really we trust our audience and our hundreds of thousands of adoring fans to make their own competent decisions. That's obviously we have so many fans is because we don't jerk them off all day. It's actually we empower them to make their own decisions. That definitely is a winning formula for our podcast.
Totally.
But what I would say is that you and I have watched a lot of other DCEU media over the course of our lives, and you and I both know of something called the Flashpoint Paradox, and that movie. A lot of stuff, the stuff that happens. The stuff you're waiting for, the build up to everything is phenomenal. Rio, she's tuned in a few times for the Lord of the Rings chat. I don't think she's here right now. She's probably busy doing her job. But, I made her watch that movie with me because it's freaking amazing. And she was like, wow, that's one of the greatest things I've ever watched in my entire life. And I'm like, yeah, it is because it's amazing. We have this. We have, the roadmap here. And they just don't take it. And they do subpar, shitty, stupid things that nobody wants to watch. That's the thing. I don't think this movie is going to last 2 weeks. The box office is already down. Here's another thing. I don't see a bunch of people on the internet talking about it. A movie was really, really good or really, really bad when people are talking about it a few weeks later. Rise of Skywalker or whatever the middle movie was called. What were they called?
Jedi, yeah.
The Last Jedi, dude. People love it or hate it. People were talking about that movie for months. And that made it. This just made it more popular.
It's
surviving the zeitgeist, and I just think this movie is nothing. It's a big nothing burger.
I think it's a good analogy though, right?
Yeah.
Because if you look at it, right, before this movie came out, it was super overhyped to the point people were saying it's the best superhero movie that's ever happened.
Exactly.
Right? And to be honest, I remember the day The Last Jedi dropped, the headlines were the best Star Wars movie since Empire Strikes Back. I remember that.
Yeah.
And it brainwashed me a little bit because when I watched the movie, I actually really enjoyed The Last Jedi, and I remember coming home, talking with my friend, and saying, "It might be right. That's wrong. It's definitely not. Rogue One's better.
Yeah.
The Force Awakens is better. Revenge of the Sith is better. Just to name a few.
It's a good movie to see in a theater, for sure. There's some really cool scenes in that movie. That hyperspace torpedo boat thing was a phenomenal work of probably one of the best video effects we'll ever see. Costume works, everything's phenomenal. Everything was set up for success, but the problem was it's just on a shaky foundation.
Yeah.
And and it's just like that here. It's just already on the shaky foundation of all the Ezra Miller drama, on all of the DCEU drama, different actors, different writers, different this, different that, different blah, 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 blah. It's just there's so much that goes into making this movie fall all over itself, and it's just I didn't really like it that much. I think that's just what it comes down to is I just thought it was a really dumb, weak superhero movie, with these dumb effects, going into the Speed Force is supposed to be this amazing thing, where he can vibrate through space and time.
I hate how he runs. I hate it.
Yeah, dude, it's really dumb, and it's not inspiring, and it's just lazy.
Yeah.
It feels the whole movie feels lazy. That's what I'm saying to say. They're gonna say, okay, let's get Batman, beating up some villains, and Wonder Woman shows up. And the Flash is going back in time, but he's actually, it's called the Flash.
He's also useless.
It's called the Flash. The best thing about this movie is that Michael Keaton is Batman. That's what a lot of people are saying.
Even Ben Affleck's Batman was great in the movie.
Yeah, here's the thing is people say it was cool to see Michael Keaton as Batman again. When they go to see the Flash, it's just and again with the Flashpoint Paradox, there's ways to make the Flash inspirational. He was always this quirky, even in Justice League, before Justice League Unlimited, there was just the Justice League, right? And the Flash in the final season of the Justice League, he kind of saves the day over the course of 2 episodes. Because turns the Flash can vibrate through space and time, which actually makes him quite very, very overpowered when he feels like it. When he's fighting the Brainiac Lex Luthor, him, and he was running across the planet. He would hit him once, and he would run to the other side of the planet and hit him again. It was wild. That wasn't here. That wasn't here in this movie. The coolest thing they did was fight a giant alien invasion in the middle of the fucking desert. Okay,
right. which doesn't even I get it, but this movie was hyped as as something that it just kind of wasn't. I think you're spot on. It does just feel lazy.
Yeah.
The ease at which Barry can just run into the Speed Force, like something traumatic has to happen. Well, something traumatic happened the first time he was able to run that fast, right?
Yeah.
And so then when he's in the alternate reality, the younger Barry, he's just like, oh, we can go through the Speed Force, and just does it.
Yeah.
Right. And then like I think they meant this as like a twist where people will be like, holy shit, what the fuck? Where like the Speed Force demon essentially is Barry.
Yeah.
But like, of course it is.
See, that's the thing
Like,
about the Speed Force demon. Like, isn't it supposed to be some unstoppable entity that like is supposed
so
to represent?
I don't think it's supposed to be the actual the guardian of the Speed Force or whatever. Like, I don't think it's supposed to be that. But it's like there is a presence within the Speed Force in comics that does protect it.
Yeah.
Right. And so if you're people familiar with comics might have thought that was that, right? And at first I was like, maybe it is because it's what kicked Barry out of the Speed Force and propelled him into this alternate dimension anyway, or alternate timeline. But like the more the movie went on, I was like, well, it's kind of obvious, like it's Barry.
Yeah.
Like, of course it is. But
as soon as he got that wound, I put it together. It's like, oh, it's just him like running and trying to solve this problem. Like,
and I don't even know how he
he
got all that shit stuck in him.
and because he keeps like running around getting injured in like the war going on in the desert, and it's really stupid because again, like, you know, I already hate time travel, but the Speed Force is like cool because he's like so fast, he's running faster than time, and then he's running behind time or whatever. You know, that's whatever the idea is. And it just it's a fixed point, bro. You know,
Yeah.
just,
I mean, the movie should have never been, in my opinion, a copy of the Flashpoint Paradox cartoon.
I feel like that's completely wrong.
Comics.
I feel like they should make just the Flashpoint, but in movies, real life actors, and it'd be the best selling thing that ever made, and it would be phenomenal.
Yeah, I think they should have pulled elements from it. I think, but like the biggest problem, really, for a lot of people is where's Zoom or Reverse Flash or anyone. Like, who is the actual antagonist in this movie? Who is the villain in this movie? It's Barry. And, like, again, like, that... I have a feeling these guys are in here writing this story, just sucking each other off, thinking it's like it's the best thing ever, the most creative thing anybody's ever heard of. Yeah. And, like, it's not. I mean, the main character being your main antagonist is not new. But it's easy to think it's like brilliant, and then you get lazy and just it is what it is, I guess. I don't know. It didn't feel inspired at all to me.
It just felt like a really boring, average superhero movie, and they just like, you know, that you could slap the DC paint on it, and so like it makes it a little bit more than subpar because it has the DC paint on it and has like Batman flipping around doing cool stuff.
Yeah, and like again, both Batmen were great in the movie.
Yeah, exactly.
And then that's the thing is like I enjoyed Ben Affleck's Batman. I enjoyed Michael Keaton's Batman in this movie. I enjoyed Sasha Cal's Supergirl. My only problem with her is she didn't really have a character arc. But then again, neither did Zod. Like, Zod wasn't the villain in this movie. Zod was just a prop. And
he was there.
And it makes so much more sense what Michael Shannon was saying about how like these multiverse movies feel like people playing with action figures. Well, because they just used him to get to a point, and he was barely in the movie, right?
Like, he was only there to kill or be killed. That was it. Like, it's really annoying.
And so, like, again, like Batman and Supergirl continuously dying. That for some people that might have been like, holy shit, like that's crazy. But for people again who have seen the Flashpoint Paradox or are familiar with Flashpoint in any way whatsoever, of course they're gonna die. There's nothing surprising. There's nothing crazy about that. Like when it happened in Flashpoint Paradox, it was like, holy shit, dude, everybody's fucking dying. Like, and it's violent and it's crazy. Like, and this, it was just kind of like, okay, of course. And then now we're stuck in a time loop and nothing's actually happening. Oh, and now look, Convergence, which again is just weird because this movie wasn't about Superman, but all we see in Convergence is a bunch of fucking Supermen. Like, we saw Michael Keaton's Batman, and we saw, you know, but we didn't see any other fucking Batman. We didn't see any other Flashes. We saw Supermen.
Yeah.
And it's like that didn't make a whole lot of sense.
You know, they could have gone big with it. Like that's the thing. Like in this movie, there's a feeling that they could have gone big, and then they could have done awesome things, and they could have done something like amazing to like really ignite the spark of the DC movie cinematic universe, like the DCCU or whatever the fuck.
Yeah.
You know, and it's just felt like another boring chapter in Warner Brothers' mishandling of DC property. Like,
see, and I actually even disagree with you a little bit. Like, I thought the humor was pretty funny, and I thought like some of the dialogue carried the movie through a lot of parts. I thought some of the scenes were shot beautifully, like especially when he went back to the supermarket and like was like with his mom and stuff. Like, again, it didn't move me emotionally the way I think it should have, but the scene looked great. Like, the way that the time stopped and the lightning was kind of everywhere. Like, I thought it looked great, but other than that, like, it didn't accomplish what it needed to. But I thought that, little things carried me through the movie, but those things weren't really the Flash.
Yeah.
Like the suits also, all the suits looked great. All of them.
Yeah, fantastic.
Supergirl's suit, I loved it. I thought she looked great.
She was pretty hot.
All the Batman suits, even Barry's suit, like the Flash's suit, I really like the look of the suit actually, except for like the weird helmet shit in the back. But yeah, I mean, the aesthetics of the movie are pretty good aside from bad CGI. But again, like there's so much to not like that I don't know. I didn't hate the movie. I'll probably see it again to really get a better idea of how I feel about it. But it just like I said, it just felt like I was waiting for something to happen.
Yeah.
And like nothing.
They could have gone big with
away.
it, Yeah, they could have done wild things. They didn't do anything. Like they could have had like an apocalypse reference, or they could have crossed the universe and just done a lot of cool things. Like they could have gone forward in time to whatever they were setting up to. But they just, they kept doing things that were boring and uninteresting. Like, let's go to some random Soviet base to, free Supergirl. And so, like, maybe in an apocalypse prison would have been really great, but they didn't do that because that'd be too much fun. It's all shitty, and it wasn't all shitty. Like, there were some cool redeeming parts of the movie. Some of the effects were cool. Like, when they were fighting on that big open field, I thought was great. And, Supergirl was awesome. I like Michael Keaton's Batman. Like, I didn't watch the original one that he came from, but, I didn't hate this version of whatever we were watching.
No, I thought it was fantastic. And, like, the sad news, right? Like, I read today, and I don't know if they're just saying this to get people to go watch the movie, but they're saying if The Flash was a box office success, they had plans to bring Michael Keaton back as an older Bruce Wayne for Batman Beyond. And I'm thinking this is coming from people at Warner Brothers or DC saying, oh, we need to get people to go see our movie. How do we do that? Oh, let's just make some shit up. Because even if the movie's not successful, that has nothing to do with Michael Keaton. Like, they could still bring him back to do Bruce Wayne with Terry McGinnis. Like,
yeah.
I mean, I don't know what that has to do with anything. But yeah, no, like it. The more I talk about it, the less I like the movie for some reason. Like,
I think that because you need to analyze your thoughts, like because
we're picking it apart, and it's like the more I think about little things, like the more it just annoys me.
Yeah.
There was so much potential, and they had so much opportunity just to do things, and so many little lines just make no sense. We still don't even know how Barry's mom gets killed.
Yeah.
Like it's a huge part of the movie where they're like, hey guys, Barry's mom is dead, and that's why his life is like this, and he's gonna go back in time to prevent her from dying, because by his it doesn't even make sense. He puts the can of tomatoes or whatever in his dad's cart, and his dad is home, so his mom doesn't get murdered. How does she not get murdered? Who murdered her? And he was there, and they're like, oh, never mind. Peace out. Hey, he's here. Yeah. I can't murder her now. Like,
because I remember, like, I watched the first few episodes of the Flash, the Warner Brothers show. Didn't she get killed by like some speed demon or something like that?
She gets killed by Zoom.
Yeah, and I don't know, like,
or Reverse Flash or whatever, like in different adaptations, right? But
yeah,
really, she gets killed by a speedster, and that's a hugely important thing because it dictates everything else. And then I'm glad they did something at the end to indicate that like not everything's back to normal, but like the fact that some things are still like very, like almost nothing changed except for who Batman is a problem, because like
it's really dumb.
If like when you do things like this, and it was my opinion. This has always been my opinion, and I've talked about it with Infinity War going into Endgame and other things. If you're going to do this whole big thing and then just undo it, and there's no consequences, it's bad.
Yeah,
that's how I feel about it. If they just simply undid Thanos' snap and nothing changed and we just move forward, no consequences, that's a problem. Obviously, they didn't do that. 5 years had passed, all these other things. The world is forever changed because of it. That makes it a good, well-rounded story.
Yeah.
If Barry can just go back and fix his mistake and nothing changes and the world is as it was, to the point that his dad still has his appeal date on the same exact day, then what's the point, right? There need to be long-lasting consequences, and George Clooney being Batman is not one of those.
Yeah.
I mean, it's something.
Honestly, like that scene just seemed like Warner Brothers jerking themselves off about how they can just do whatever they want, and they're right. They can. You can literally write whatever you want, and I just, again, the more we pick it apart, the more dumb we realize that this all really is.
I mean, and again, the biggest problem to me is it leaves you with more questions than answers. Like, who killed Barry's mom and why? Is it someone random? And again, why does his dad being at home matter? Like, in that reality where his mom, quote unquote, doesn't die because his dad is home, why wouldn't the murderer have killed both of them?
Yeah.
Like, I don't get it. Like, that would have been more interesting. He goes back, he puts the can in the thing, he goes back to the future or whatever, and both his parents are dead. Okay, there's a twist. We got to go back again and try something new. There's something interesting there, but just this, like, it doesn't even make internal sense necessarily. So I don't know. Like I said, the more I think about it, the more it just annoys me. And maybe, again, there was too much expectation, and I tried not to go into these movies with expectations, but, like, when people say it's the greatest superhero movie to ever be made, like, you've just seen Across the Spider-Verse, you have some pretty high expectations, okay? So, yeah, I don't know.
Yeah, and it's hard, like, it's right. We got Into the Spider-Verse and Across the Spider-Verse and whatever the verse, like, we got these cool multiversal things. We got at least Marvel's, like, willing to try. Like, that's another thing you and I, we talked about before with these DC movies.
Mm-hmm.
They kind of try to skip the line. They try and skip straight to the big stuff without introducing the characters. Like, this feels like The Flash, right? The name of the movie is Flash. And it was barely about him. It was more about the multiverse of the DC, them trying to save their own skins and saying they can do whatever they want to keep their movies fresh. That's what this felt like. It didn't feel like a movie about the Flash. It felt like he was a vessel for them being able to do whatever they wanted because he was the one that fucked everything up, and that was it.
Yeah, I mean, ultimately, yes, the story centers around the Flash, but the most interesting parts of the movie are not the Flash.
Yeah.
And that's a problem. I mean, yes, the story is about the Flash, inherently, but we don't care about the Flash. We care about Michael Keaton's Batman. We care about Sasha Calle's Supergirl. We care that Zod is there. We care that George Clooney shows up at the end for some reason. We care about Nicolas Cage and Christopher Reeves and all these other people showing up. Brandon Routh. We care about all that, but Jay Garrick's Flash, who looks suddenly like Teddy Sears from the Flash TV show, even though he wasn't even in the movie. He didn't film anything for it, but for some reason it looks like him. So we have Jay Garrick, but we don't actually have anything interesting about the Flash.
Yeah. He barely grows as a character, like, aside from learning to get over the death of his mom.
His younger self grows, but the main version of the Flash doesn't really grow. And yes, he does. So the younger version grows, but then he also grows negatively by existing in the Speed Force forever. I mean, it's just, I don't know. Yeah, Yeah, I don't know.
Very unfortunate day for you and I because, like, you know, you grew up reading DC Comics. I grew up
Bro,
watching Justice League and Justice League Unlimited and like all the Batmans and everything.
yeah, that reminds me. I'm gonna pull something up in a minute. But yeah, it is just, I don't know. It's just so unfortunate because I love the Flash. I've always loved the Flash.
Mm.
Even in the face of the, like, for me on Marvel's side of things, I've always viewed Iron Man to be like the least interesting member of the Avengers, at least
Right.
growing up, right? And then Robert Downey Jr. came along and he made the character good, right?
Yeah.
A lot of people think that way about the Flash. Like, a lot of people think the Flash is kind of just an uninteresting character. Like, people don't like the Flash or Green Lantern; they like Batman and Superman. Like that. That's kind of how it felt early on growing up, but not
Yeah.
later. Like later, right? Early 2000s, mid 2000s, like people love these characters, right? Like,
Yeah. Well,
it,
Marvel was all they talked about. Like, you know, Marvel was fantastic. The first Avengers came out, and that's all they said. Now they're setting up for this thing called the Infinity War. That's what that was like. That was what came out from down high, and then they're introducing the Inhumans, and then that all went away. But the
well,
Infinity War thing stuck, and then, like, you know, they just built up to Infinity War, and it was phenomenal. And now, like, you know, they kind of have themselves in a corner.
yeah. I mean, but even that, like, the MCU got successful on what they had, right? The characters they had,
Mhm.
like the rights to, which aren't necessarily the best characters. Like, people don't care that much about a lot of these characters, to be honest. Like, the Avengers weren't the X-Men, and the X-Men, you know, when you talk about like teams and tiers and things, like it's X-Men, it's Fantastic Four, like these are the big teams. Like, people don't necessarily care about Inhumans. People don't necessarily care about the Avengers. Like, the Avengers obviously sold, right? They were good comics and stuff, but
Yeah.
they weren't the most popular ever. Like, they were always outshined by X-Men or Fantastic Four,
Yeah.
right? But the movies we got were great. So
Yep.
they didn't need to have the best characters. They made the characters they had work.
Yeah.
Um, can you download, please, mother sucker? Um, but DC, right? DC's always had access to everything. They've always had access to everything they own, and
Mm.
so the fact that they haven't been able to do anything, overwhelmingly successful, is disappointing. Like, sure, they've done some successful things,
Yeah.
but not the way they should.
And when you say successful, like, you and I have seen every movie. Like, you know, we know we generally kind of we have taste. Like, we have really good taste. You know, we know what a good movie is, and like these movies that we've seen so far, they're just not good. Like, they're just not. Like, most of them. Like, what's the best DCEU movie you think to date?
The
It's
best,
probably the Batman. It's just,
right?
you
Which
know,
isn't even DCU.
exactly.
Like,
They're
it's
trying to make it that.
yeah. So, yeah, the best. Hold on. That's a tough. Like, if we're talking DCEU,
Hmm.
what would be the best out of that? Like, probably maybe the first Wonder Woman.
Yeah, I can see that.
Or, I mean, I liked Aquaman. Obviously, it's the most successful of the lot.
Yeah,
I wouldn't say it's
I
the
enjoyed
best.
I enjoyed Aquaman too. I thought it was a lot of fun.
I enjoyed both Shazam movies, despite how poorly the second one did in theaters.
Hmm.
What else? I mean, yeah, probably Wonder Woman. It has to be Wonder Woman is probably the
Yeah.
best.
And when did that movie come out? 7 years ago now?
20. I don't know. What year did that come out? 2017, was it?
It's been a while, so let's keep that. Like, it's been a while, and that's not okay. And they should be making good movies every single time. And
Yeah.
they're always hit or miss, and they're always overhyped, and it's always it's always a shit show.
Yeah.
And it sucks that we're in this position because you and I really, like, you know, we love this stuff. We really do.
Yeah, exactly. Okay. Look at the screen. in a second. Oh, we got some extra people watching. Okay. Anyway,
Good.
so for anybody who thinks that I'm not actually a fan of The Flash, this is gonna load eventually onto the stream. But by the time I'm talking about it, it's already here. So this is a picture of me with a.
Damn! Look at that long hair.
This is me in high school, with a Flash T-shirt.
Are you sure you didn't smoke weed?
I'm 1,000,000% sure. A Flash T-shirt, a Flash hoodie that had the mask attached to it, and even though the hat is backwards, you can see it says DC, and there's yellow on top as well as the red. A Flash hat, right? I love the Flash. I'm a big fan of the character, the Flash. I also had a similar outfit for Green Lantern with a Green Lantern shirt, a Green Lantern hoodie, and a Green Lantern hat, but that's for a different day. I don't have a picture of it, so you just have to take my word for it. But yeah, I also the funny thing is I'd wear this frequently to high school, and some days I'd wear my Shazam T-shirt, and people always thought that the Shazam T-shirt was also the Flash, and I'm like, yo, I wear a Flash T-shirt. You guys should know the fucking difference by now. But yeah, this is me in high school. I know I was much better looking back then than I am now. But yeah.
Well, it's okay. You're married now, so you made it there.
Yeah, I wasn't married back then, so.
Yeah,
but yeah, this was yeah. I don't dress like this anymore either. I mean, I still this is Black Bolt that I'm wearing now, but.
Yep.
Yeah. So, yeah, I mean.
So you like the Flash, confirmed?
Yeah, well, I mean, just in case people were listening, thinking, "Wow, these guys didn't necessarily like the movie. They must hate the character of the Flash." No, I love the character of the Flash. I thought this movie just like similar to what you said. It was kind of uninspired. It felt like it didn't accomplish much, and it felt lazy in parts. But I still overall enjoyed it. I thought it was a good movie. I just don't think it was great. It was nowhere close to the best superhero movie ever. Like, to me, if you're looking at movies that came out this year, right, it's far behind Across the Spider-Verse. It's to me pretty far behind Guardians 3. It's about on level terms with Ant-Man and the Wasp: Quantumania. Yeah, in my opinion. I think, when you're looking at DC movies overall, it's gonna rank pretty high because most of those movies are pretty bad. So that's just kind of what it comes down to. Yeah. Let me see what's fully in the DCEU. I know it's Man of Steel, BVS, Wonder Woman, Justice League, both versions, Shazam, Aquaman, Shazam 2. Wonder Woman 2, which I couldn't even watch any of. But yeah.
And it's just, again, unfortunate because, like, I grew up, this stuff really can make a really easy jump to the big screen. It really can, and they're just messing it up all the time because of uninspired, cowardly choices on every level of management. And I have no confidence right now in the future with James Gunn because he keeps talking about how great it's going to be and how amazing it is and all that good stuff.
Well, I mean, he's got to sell it, right?
Yeah, he's got to sell his own work. He can't just rely on it being good. And it's does not inspire me. That's what I'm saying.
All right. So, oh God, please don't include all the other bullshit. Some movies we forgot: The Suicide Squad and Suicide Squad, which I actually like James Gunn's Suicide Squad. So, let's see. Jesus, they do include. I don't need all this shit. I just need what's in the DCEU, yo. Oh my God, they have every single fucking thing, man. I don't care about all this shit. Okay, so The Flash, Shazam 2. Yeah, dude. This shit would take so long to fucking make a fucking tier list of with all this garbage in it. Black Adam, The Suicide Squad, Justice League, Wonder Woman 84, which is bad. Wonder Woman, the other Suicide Squad movie, Aquaman, Shazam, BVS, Man of Steel, Yeah. Birds of Prey. Jesus Christ, what a terrible movie that was. Did you watch
Yeah.
Birds of Prey?
Yeah.
Oh,
It was just,
God.
it was really boring.
Yeah, Justice League. Okay. I mean, yeah. Where does the Flash rank? Probably towards the top.
Yeah.
But again, there isn't much there to care about. I mean, it's just tough. It's just tough.
It's tough right
But like
now.
I said, it's not bad. It's just, it's just not great.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Gotta love when you're reduced to that. It's not bad, but like it's not what I want.
Yeah, I mean, on a tier list, the Flash. What do you think? Like a B or a C?
I'd give it a C, but I know you're more in the B territory yourself.
Yeah, I'd say more a B. I mean,
So for me, a lot of the jokes really fell flat. Is the main problem. They were dropping frames on YouTube.
Are we?
Yeah.
Because I'm messing with shit in here. Okay, I'll close that. I'll close out of Chrome. Don't worry, I'll close out. All right. Jesus. Going into Chrome, everything freezes. So, don't worry, we'll catch up. Guys. But yeah. It's unfortunate because I had high hopes for the Flash. I
think we all did.
I still don't know what it actually accomplished in terms of the future of DC.
Yeah.
Like, obviously, it wasn't gonna accomplish much aside from like quote unquote resetting the universe, but it didn't even really do that.
Yeah.
So, what the fuck? Can we fix it? All right, I think it's fixed. Hopefully, I don't know. It looks like it's still stuttering, but no frames dropped on on OBS. It's green. The light's green. The light's green. So
Yep.
I don't
Hopefully
know.
we can get there. Back to the promised land soon.
Back to the promised land soon. Absolutely. Is there a way to are you limited by your broadband, or is it? It's probably my computer throttling me, right? With the
It probably, your CPU is probably overtasked, and it's like just prioritizing different things, and it's sending out it's not syncing right. A lot of stuff happens. Weird stuff happens when your computer is prioritizing a bunch of different things at the same time.
Yeah. Like, well, I mean, also every little thing takes up CPU usage on my computer, just like crazy. Yeah, I'm at 100% CPU usage right now. Like overall, and I open Task Manager, it's 45% of my CPU.
Yeah.
OBS is 30. Discord is 22. And then just every little other thing, 11% for a browser sub-process. What the fuck even is that? Can I end that, or will it yell at me?
I don't know, man. If we'd have to go over, maybe next time I'm down, we can go over it in person or something.
Okay.
Take a little look-see. Oh, you into the stream?
No. I'm ending all these subtasks.
Oh, okay.
But it's just you're gonna use up my whole CPU anyway, reallocating it. So, yeah. Anyway, I think yeah. For me, the Flash is probably a 7 out of 10. Is that high?
Kinda in today's modern age, but is what it is.
Yeah, I feel like it's definitely not higher. So 6 out of 10 is average, right? I mean 7 out of 10, a little better than average. I feel like that's fair.
Yeah.
Because even though, yeah, like I said, we've talked pretty bad about the movie. It wasn't. I don't think it was great, but I don't think it was bad either. I thought it was just a fine movie, in a similar vein to how Ant-Man and the Wasp: Quantumania was just a fine movie. Which I know you enjoyed that one a lot more just because of all the sci-fi stuff and whatever. But
yeah,
I mean, and at least that movie had a solid villain
yeah.
who's going to jail in real life.
A real villain, yeah.
No, he's probably not going to go to jail. Let's be honest, but
we'll see what happens. It could be all these stuff piles in, and then judge is like, "Oh wow, you're a monster," and puts him away. You never know how that can happen.
Yeah, you never know. But yeah, this is my Mace Windu lightsaber, by the way.
Cool as heck.
It's saucy. It's heavy too. But yeah. Anyway, so what would you give The Flash out of 10? Like a 5?
Probably a 6 or a 5. Yeah.
Yeah.
I just, again, some of these jokes really fell flat for me. Like when Batman picked up that frickin' rope and he just started spouting out the truth. It's like, it's not how it works, right? Like she needs to ask him questions. And yeah, it's just...
Sure. I mean, but in DC, like in DC movies, that's been kind of how it works historically. Like they did the same gag in Justice League where Aquaman was sitting on it and he just kind of started spouting, the truth without any prompt.
Yeah.
So I think internally, like, it works that way, but sure, like, I don't know. In their universe, in the DCEU, that's how it works, apparently. I thought it was pretty funny, but again, like, different people find different things funny or not funny, and a lot of people think the MCU is just too much jokes and none of them land, and most of them land for me still, so maybe I'm just immature or stupid or something.
I think we're all a little bit of that.
Yeah. I mean, we can all use a laugh,
Yeah, sure.
Bro, the other day, like the day you were here and you left, like my wife, her family came over and stuff, and we cooked for them, and so like they're like looking for things to watch, and they put on the Joker movie, and I'm just like, bro, this shit's so depressing. Like, what the fuck, man? Like, we don't need to watch this right now. Like, I'm just, bro, this guy's just like, he hates his life. He's getting beat up by children. Like, the world's unfair. His therapist is terrible. Like, bro, we need something more positive. Luckily, after that, they put on Pitch Perfect, so we're chilling.
There you go.
So, but yeah, we'll leave you guys with that. Hopefully, this first YouTube stream does okay. Like, hopefully people watch the video later and shit. And if you're listening on the audio version, that's still great. We love all our audio listeners on Spotify or Apple Music or whatever you listen on. We're on everything, Google and Pandora and fucking, your mom's fucking CV radio and shit. Like, we're everywhere. So yeah, tell your friends about us. Tell your dogs about us. Tell your wives and children's and whatever.
Tell your friends and family. Yep.
Yeah, write reviews about us and rave how terrible we are or whatever. You write Twitter posts about outrageous shit because we're the worst. Who cares?
Should at Cage, not me, because I'm not on Twitter.
Yeah, I mean, do all that shit. Follow, like, subscribe. Click buttons. We appreciate you. Be sure to share your thoughts too if you disagree or agree in any way. Hey, we don't police other people's opinions or anything. So you're more than welcome to tell us why we're wrong. Do all those things, and we'll see you later. Bye.
Bye.